Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you all back to the show. Just my thoughts. I'm your host, Eric Coughlin, and today we're going to be recapping pretty much everything that's been going on. For the last month, we've been talking about nothing but NBA, which is crazy because the championship's been long over. It's been over longer than a month, and yet I still ramble and I still talk about it. So that's what we've been doing. If you've been following and been paying attention and been listening, I have broke down every team's off season for the NBA in the last 5 episodes. And then I also said that I would catch up if any big news happened after I finished up while I was doing free agency. That I would clarify all that. So I'm going to take a little bit of time to do that. We're not going to talk a lot about the NBA today, but we will recap what's been happening. So I've already stated once that since I have went through the off season of the NBA, Nerlens Noel had got picked up by the Sacramento Kings, which helps them out a lot. I actually have high faith that they could win that division, and he helps do that. He's a very solid guy, 7'1", can pretty much protect the paint by himself. But he's not a huge bodied guy. He's not like what you would think of when you think of 7 foot guys. He's not big like Andre Drummond or like Nikola Jokic, or hell, he might not even be as big as Kristaps Porzingis. But all in all, he's a 7'1" guy. He can hold the paint by himself, score inside, also have inside defensive presence. So he's going to help that team out a lot. I don't think he'll be the starter. Obviously, he'll be coming off the bench because Sabonis doesn't really need a lot of help, and he got a lot of help anyway. They've had a very nice off season. So like I said, I kind of predict early that they could win that division. They won that division last year, and I'm gonna say they're gonna be repeating that performance this year because I see them getting better during this off season. So again, they picked up Nerlens Noel. Thought that was a great idea for that team and for that franchise, and I expect that team to win a lot of games this year. So outside of Nerlens Noel getting picked up, Boston Celtics had did the unthinkable. They did what I had been screaming them not to do, and they had signed Jalen Brown 3 years, 5 years, $309 million contract. So as of right now, the biggest NBA contract ever to be signed by a single player has been signed by Jalen Brown to stay with the Boston Celtics. Now that raises a lot of eyebrows because now you want to know, now where's the money going to come to save Porzingis next year? I don't know. Maybe they hope to make a championship run. Maybe they hope that they're going to be in the finals and muster up some money for Porzingis because I mean that's very it's possible. I'm not going to say it's logical. I'm not going to say that they're hands down favorites to win the East just because of re-signing Jalen Brown and picking up Kristaps Porzingis, because that's the reason for that is there's still a lot of unknown factors, right? Biggest unknown factor in the NBA world right now is what the hell is the Miami Heat planning to do? They still got a lot of cap, they still got a lot of money, and they still have a very huge need for someone to help stretch the floor. Yeah, they picked up a couple of centers, and possibly those centers, or they re-signed a center and picked up a center, and they're going to be battling for starting positions. But that being said, there's still other players out there that are probably better than both of the guys that they got on their team. Um, and they've got to find a way to replace the talents of what they've lost. They lost dominant 3-point shooting in Max Strus, and they lost dominant playing, a winning effort in Gabe Vincent. So, I'm not a Miami Heat guy. I'm a Chicago Bulls guy. But I mean, the Heat got a lot of money, so they could do a lot of things. A couple of things I think they should do. I'm not saying that I've read anything. This is just simply what I think as an NBA fan and as a basketball guy. This is what I think that they should throw some money at Kelly Oubre Jr. From the Hornets. I think that that dude can be a really good asset wing player, and I also think they need to throw some money at Christian Woods. If they could pick up Kelly Oubre Jr. and Christian Woods, then the Miami Heat were probably going to repeat, and Boston Celtics have given a lot of money to Jalen Brown for no reason at all. So again, we're not going to spend a lot of time in the NBA because we've been talking about the NBA for the last month. So A lot of questions to be answered for a lot of different teams. A couple of names, players that are really franchisable players. Like I just said, Kelly Oubre Jr. You could franchise the guy. He's really legit. I mean, he's proven his worth in the league. He's been in the league 5 years. He's not looking like he's getting ready to retire anytime soon. Same thing for Christian Woods. He's proven that he can average a double double no matter what team you put him on, he's going to put up good numbers. He's a very reliable guy. So, am I afraid of the Boston Celtics? No. Um, but did they do something pretty wild and phenomenal? I'd say, yeah. I'd say that looking from the outside looking in, Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum both are very legitimate threat players. A couple of guys that are some of the best players in the league, and they're playing on the same team. So you do have to take Boston very seriously when you're playing Boston. But I'm not saying that I think that Boston's going to automatically go to the championship and automatically be in the championship run because of what they've done. Let's be honest, Porzingis is coming off of an injury, so you really don't even know if that's going to pay off, which is why they didn't offer him no big time money that's coming next year. Um, so that being said, we're gonna just wanted to clarify that Jalen got the big bag, and now is the richest player in the NBA. I wanted you guys to know that, so you're welcome. I also wanted you guys to know that there's still a lot of moves that Miami Heat could make to counteract what Boston's trying to do. How you doing? And that being said, they're not the only guys that have capped. There's several teams that are capped out, and then there's a few teams that got money and they're just sitting around and waiting. And we talked about that on the last episode, so we're not going to get into that much at all. So today's agenda, actually, I wanted to make aware to everybody that the NFL preseason kicks off this week. That's right, Thursday will be the Cleveland Browns versus the New York Jets. Now, don't expect to see um, Aaron Rodgers play. He's not going to play. This is normally what they consider the Hall of Fame game. The NFL preseason opener is usually a Hall of Fame game, and it's usually jam packed full of people still trying to make the roster. So generally, you'll see all of the draft picks from the Cleveland Browns and all the draft picks from the New York Jets. A lot of young players, players that are cuttable, are looking to make the cut, looking to make the team. Those are the guys that are going to be playing Thursday night for both of their teams. But I'm still going to watch it, right? Because it's going to be the first time we get to watch NFL since the Super Bowl. So I'll be tapped into watching the Jets and the Browns Thursday night. And that being said, so the way it works is the Hall of Fame game will be Thursday night, and then like preseason itself will open up this Saturday for everyone else, or maybe yeah, maybe next Saturday. Should be around August 9th, August 10th, August 11th. Everybody should start playing by then, so that might be next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend. But for sure, this week will be the Hall of Fame game. And then I guess that everyone will get a week break. I don't understand that, and then the rest of the games will be following that weekend. So keep an eye on that. We are right around the corner from the NFL, just like I told you guys. That's why I rushed through the NBA free agency. That's why I didn't. Technically, I should be still talking about the NBA free agency, but I summed up in the last episode. I killed two divisions in one scene, so, and I did that just to get you guys prepped and ready for the NFL. So that being said, so we still got a little bit of time. Like I said, 4 or 5 days, 4 days until Thursday, and then a whole other week until actual preseason is going to kick off, and everyone's going to get a little bit of action. So big question is, what are you supposed to do until then? Right, right. That's the big question. So that's I have the answer for that big question, and it falls into the roads of entertainment. Again, Propel. I told you guys, I love drinking my Propel. I've been drinking Propel for as long as Propel's been drinkable. And I've already said that. I'm saying it twice. And it's delicious. I mean, it's water, is what people say, right? But it's Gatorade water. So you got flavors and you got electrolytes and you got vitamins and you get just so much more out of Propel than what you would buying like a Dasani or just any kind of bottled water. Water is water. It's you're pretty much paying for tap water. If you didn't know that, you know that now. Unless drinking Propel. And I think Powerade is trying to gimmick that. I think there's a Powerade water out there. I've never drank it, don't care about it. I'm not a Powerade guy. I'm a Gatorade guy. That's why I do my Propels. That and plus, I was a high school athlete, so being in my youth and being, an athletic guy, I always wanted, something more, something tasteful. And I found it in Propel, and I haven't turned my back on it. There's no reason to. I mean, if it was delicious 15 years ago and they haven't changed the way they made it, guess what? Odds are it's still delicious, and it is. That's why I still drink it. How you doing? So anyway, back to the entertainment world. These are things that happened this weekend that I should have already, announced by now, and I'm announcing it late. But I don't care. You guys get to watch this video. You guys will, you know, get to peep on what I'm saying. So, Twisted Metal finally had released. It released Friday, and I had already wiped it out. So I've been waiting on it since I heard it. I heard about it coming out 3 months ago, and so I've been waiting 90 days to watch it. And I couldn't help myself, and so Friday I watched like the first six episodes, and then Saturday morning or Saturday evening. I don't remember when it was that I decided to turn it on, but I pretty much wrapped it up. I watched the last four episodes. I believe there's 10 episodes in the first season, and I wiped them all out. Thought the show was pretty good. I thought the story kind of sucked, but I thought the show was pretty good. And what I mean by that is like, obviously growing up playing the games on PlayStation, I think we all have done that. Anyone that's going to watch Twisted Metal has to have played Twisted Metal. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense for you to even watch Twisted Metal. How you doing? So they have some pretty phenomenal characters as always. Sweet Tooth is on there. That was expected. Outlaw's on there. That should have been expected. Outlaw was always my favorite character playing growing up. I always loved playing as Outlaw, so he's on there. You'll see him. Roadkill is on there. You'll see him. You'll see Warthog at the beginning. You won't necessarily see the character bases. You'll just see their vehicles, and you'll just playing the game. You'll know what those vehicles were. Shadow's on there. Shadow's actually one of the main characters of the entire season, which is weird because in the season or in the show they call her Quiet. That's her name is Quiet, but in the game she was Shadow. If you don't know who Shadow is, you don't remember who Shadow was. It was the chick that drove the purple hearse, and then like her special move was literally a ghost shadow. Like you can shoot out a ghost and it'd go to the nearest. It was almost like a homing missile. It'd go to pretty much the nearest enemy, wipe them down. Outlaws, special was like the electricity. You could throw electricity around and wrap a vehicle into your electricity. If you don't remember that, I'm reminding you of the memories. But so the show had made the main character John Doe, which is really strange to me because maybe my memory is failing me, but I don't ever remember there ever being a John Doe in any of the Twisted Metals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which was black. I don't ever remember seeing a John Doe out of the five Twisted Metal games that I have played in my life growing up, beat all my life growing up. But for whatever reason, John Doe's on there. So Darkseid's on there. Spectre is on there. If you guys can remember Spectre, you'll see Spectre. You guys will see Darkseid. Trying to think of who else was on there. Uh, a lot of full disclosure. Actually, I'm not going to give you those. I was going to. I just talked myself out of it. A lot of the characters aren't on the TV series, but their vehicles are. So you'll get that too. Like you'll be watching it. You'll be like, "What the crap? When am I going to see this? Or when am I going to see that?" Don't build yourself up to thinking you're going to see everything in the game. It just doesn't work like that. And perhaps it will. The way it ended as if there's going to be several more seasons. I say several. It could just be one more season and it be a bust, but I doubt it. I mean, they made 5 video games, so obviously they got enough footage for at least 3 seasons. First season, like I said, I liked the show, but I thought the story was terrible. Maybe the second season they'll actually build a story for these characters, and it'll be pretty kick-ass. But all in all, it was kick-ass anyway. The things that you do see in the game, you will see in this show. Um, like I said, I've already given you the characters and the vehicles that you're going to see, but I will give you this. And like I said, it's a spoiler alert if that's what you want to call it. But as wicked as it sounds, they actually set Sweet Tooth's head on fire, just like in the game. You know, in the game he had that head full of fire. Well, he has a head full of fire in the show, so how cool is that? I think it's very fucking cool. When they did it, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they're actually going to put that in this series, but they did, and it was wicked. So, is it worth watching? Absolutely, especially if you're a fan, if you grew up playing the games, if you know the characters, if you know Warthog, and you know Outlaw, and you know Roadkill, and you know Sweet Tooth, and you know Spectre, and you know Shadow. If you know the game, absolutely watch the show because you won't be disappointed. I wasn't disappointed. I wanted more, but let's be honest, if there's anything that I'm attracted to, I always want more anyway. So it's just in me to want more. Doesn't necessarily mean that they did a really bad job making the show. So, again, Twisted Metal was released this weekend. If you haven't watched it, watch it. Only if you're a fan. If you're not a fan and you want to know what the crap I'm talking about, watch it anyway. You might become a fan. A lot of things that you would expect, don't expect until later seasons. That's the only spoiler I'm going to give you. Sorry, I'm staying hydrated today, so I'm drinking a lot of my Propel today. Now it's cigarette time. Sorry, if you watch my show, you already know I'm gonna light up anyway, so I'm gonna light up right now. Had to get that flame away from my mic because if I burn down my neck, I'm gonna be a pissed motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I turned my face to you guys for a second. Sorry about that. Sorry, but I'm not sorry because you guys are not gonna buy me a microphone, right? Right. I'm gonna buy me a microphone, so I'm not gonna screw up the one that I already have. How you doing? That being said, so Twisted Metal was released. That was also yesterday. There was a release yesterday on the new Transformers. If you guys have Paramount Plus, you can watch Transformers: Rise of the Beast. It's the Transformers 6. I think is the sixth one that they've made. Is it good? Yeah, it's all right. It's pretty much like every Transformers movie. So like the first three were kick ass, right? I thought they did really good. They kept the same characters. You know, they had Shia LaBeouf in it. They had Megan Fox in it. You know, Optimus Prime was the big boy, and Bumblebee was the second main attraction. Blah 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 blah. If you've been following up with it, and then I also thought they did good. You know, later on, the last one they made with Mark Wahlberg, The Dark of the Moon. I thought that was a really good one. Rise of the Beast was okay. I mean, to me, it might be the worst of the series, but if you're like me, if you've already watched 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, your odds are you're going to want to watch 6. So just watch it anyway. It was released yesterday on Paramount Plus. Like I said, if you're a Transformers fan, it's worth the watch. Is it amazing? Nah, it's not amazing. Probably the worst one they made, but it goes along with everything else that they've been doing and all the other ones, all the other five Transformer movies that they've been putting out. You know, goes along with it, so it's all right. It's definitely not the best. Probably the worst. If I had to say the best, if I had to pick which one was the best Transformers, I'd have to say it was probably the second one, which I already forgot. Revenge of the Fallen, I think is what it was. I would say that that was the best Transformers. The original was incredible. Revenge of the Fallen was really awesome. Um, Dark Side of the Moon was really good. That was, I think, Dark Side of the Moon was actually, I say it was 5, but I think it was 4 because then they did like a Dawn of the Dinosaur. They did a dinosaur version here, pretty recent. So, I mean, it's just getting. The more they make them, the worse they're getting. But again, if you're a Transformers fan, it's totally worth the watch. I watched it. So you know, full disclosure, you're not gonna feel, you know, enthused. But there is some small comedy in it. I mean, I laughed maybe 3 times, so it's all right movie. Totally worth watching if you're a Transformers fan. And that being said, so that was another release that was released yesterday. Twisted Metal was released Friday. I'm trying to think what else has been recently released that's must watch absolute. Oh yeah, that's what it was, and I've already knocked it out too. So this weekend was huge for entertainment. So Volume 2, Season 3 of The Witcher came out. So now you can, as of right now, if you haven't watched any of The Witcher, you can start The Witcher and you can watch everything from start to end without no waiting, without no hesitation, and you would not be disappointed at all. I've said this once, I'll say this again. The Witcher has to be one of the coolest shows you could ever watch, period, especially on Netflix. I mean, when it comes to watching Netflix shows, they're a dime a dozen. They're almost all exactly the same. So The Witcher gives you something completely different. It's completely engaging with characters. Your characters are steady throughout the entire seasons one, two, and three. If you like sword fighting and you like magic and you like sex scenes and you like pretty much anything to do with like RPG games, like if you grow up playing RPG games, The Witcher is definitely for you. One of the coolest shows I've ever seen in my life. Definitely, hands down, got to be the number one show on Netflix. Period. I don't think Netflix will ever be able to outdo themselves with what they've done with The Witcher. It's that awesome. It's that cool. So if you are a Witcher's fan and you did not know that the Volume 2 Season 3 is available, it is available. And if you've never seen The Witcher at all and you know that it's a book or you know that it's a video game and you played a video game, you're like, oh, I don't understand it. There's reasons why you don't understand it because they made the books first and then they turned them into a video game and then Netflix turned it into a series. And it's 3 seasons long. And obviously, full disclosure, spoiler alert: there's going to be a season 4. There might be a season 5. This show might go on forever because again, it started out as a story. It started out as a book. So they're trying to go throughout the entire story. So even I haven't read none of them. So don't think that you have to go buy these books to understand what's going on. Just watch the fucking show. You'll pick up and you'll understand it. And if you're anything like me, you'll absolutely love it. Again, coolest show on Netflix, period. And it released, Volume 2 released Friday. Twisted Metal released Friday. So it was really strange for me. So I knocked out the Twisted Metal. And then Saturday, I had knocked out The Witcher. And then after knocking out The Witcher, I had watched the Transformers. And then Sunday, I'm sitting in front of my camera telling you guys all about it. So that's what's going on. Is what I've done. Um, you won't be at all disappointed if you go to watch any of these. I mean, you might get disappointed in the fact of wanting more, and the fact of being a fan of Transformers and knowing everything that Transformers have done, and then watch that. You might be disappointed. I was. How you doing? You might be disappointed as a Twisted Metal gearhead, and you're like, oh my god, I wanted so much more. You're gonna get so much more. You just have to be patient. How you doing? And if you're a Witcher's fan, you definitely got to finish watching The Witcher because, like I said, it's just flat out amazing. So that being said, there's other things besides that I've oh, excuse me. Let me just put this down or out. That's what I meant to say. I meant to say put this out. So I had discovered another show, um, and I discovered this show maybe a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I've been spending like the last 10 days. I'd say 10 days. I've been spending the last 10 days watching this show almost religiously, and that is Black Sails. So I have been waiting for a new Pirates of the Caribbean forever and ever and ever and ever, and I'm at the point where I'm completely sick of waiting to watch Johnny Depp become Jack Sparrow and do whatever the hell it is he's going to do, wherever the hell he's going to do it. That's just one of my favorite it's one of my favorite characters that Johnny Depp has ever played. Jack Sparrow's probably my favorite movie series because I mean, let's be honest, Johnny Depp is in a million movies, right? But how many of them are actually series? Not a lot of them. Pirates of the Caribbean is probably one of his very few series movies that he plays in, and I'm just been at my wits waiting for a new one, and I haven't got one yet. So I had ran across a show called Black Sails, which is on Stars, and there's 5 seasons. I am at the end of season 3. I was supposed to start, and I'm going to start after I get done wrapping all this up with you guys. I'm going to go start season 4 today. Probably wipe it out. That's just how great this show is. So Black Sails is a pirate show. Obviously, Black Sails pretty much tells you it's going to be pirates, but um, it's pretty much the closest thing that you could ever get to enjoying a pirate show or pirate movie, like outside of Pirates of the Caribbean. It's almost identical. It's almost a show based on Pirates of the Caribbean, minus you know there is no Captain Jack. There are no skeletons. There are not people from the dead. Nothing like that. It's more realistic. All these dudes are real dudes. You shoot them, they're gonna die. They're not coming back. They're not gonna haunt you. A lot of A lot of raids, a lot of stealing ships. Got some hanging in there. I've seen last episode they hung about four damn pirates right there. In the town court of Carolina. So that was pretty cool. Very very awesome show, by the way. That's what I'm getting at. I'm getting at is this. I haven't seen anything pirate related that was worth watching outside of the Pirates of the Caribbean until I stumbled onto Black Sails. So if you like Pirates of the Caribbean, if you like pirate stories in general, give it a watch. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. It's captivating. It's one of those shows that once you push play, you're not going to want to push stop. I generally watch 6 or 7 episodes at a time, almost a whole season at a time. Sometimes I break it down early. It depending on what I got going on in my day or how late I get home from work, I might only watch 3 episodes, but I never turn it on for one episode. I always turn it on, and I sit in front of the TV for a couple hours, maybe even 2 or 3 hours at a time. That's how good that show is. That's how awesome that how much time that they developed in every damn character. There's so many characters. And they're all main characters, right? Usually you think they're supporting characters, but there's no supporting character in this show. Every character is got his own, fandom and rules and regulations, and you'll build like a connection with every single one of them. It's hard for me to even say that I have a favorite character in that show. I kind of love them all. Not very many of them do I ever want to see get into a fight and get his head cut off. But that happens. You'll see a lot of beheading. You'll see a lot of blood, guts, gore, cannon shots, sword fighting, pistol shots, pistols that don't shoot, because that's probably very very accurate within the history of black gunpowder pistols and rifles in general. If during the piracy days, you're always on the water, so wicks get wet. They don't want to shoot powder. Powder gets wet, damp, doesn't want to shoot, and that happens in the show just like it happened in real life. So that's really cool, man. This is really, honestly, as far as shows go, is one of the best shows I've ever ran across. Like, I only started watching it because I was waiting on The Witcher, and then I was waiting for Twisted Metal, and I'm waiting still for Stranger Things, and I'm waiting still for Cobra Kai. So I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for something to watch, and then I stumbled across it, and now I'm addicted. And when it comes to the point where I wipe out all 5 seasons, I'll be I'll be happy, because by then, I'll probably finish up all of season 3 and probably half of season 4 today. But by the time I wipe out season 5 and I'm done with the show, it'll be football season. So pretty much I'm using this show to get me to football season. And it's totally gonna work, and it's been working. Like I said, there's 5 seasons. I'm already 3 deep. Gonna start 4 today, wipe out 3 episodes, then tomorrow wipe out 3 episodes, and then finish it on Tuesday. Start season 5 probably Wednesday, and then Thursday night I'll be watching Thursday night football. So then Friday finish season 5, and then boom, we'll be in football season full throttle, and I'll be long and happy to watch football and finally quit watching shows. But that being said, Black Sails must watch. It's an absolute. If you love pirates, it's an absolutely positively you have to watch that show. It's bad to the bone. It's awesome, flat out awesome, and it's got a lot of star power too. So we have talked about that in previous episodes about how something could be a good idea, but if you don't have the right faces, it end up shitty, right? Star power, star power is everything to me. Hannah New, she played in one of the Pirates of the Caribbean. She played in Pirates of the Caribbean's on Strange Tides, which was Pirates of the Caribbean 4, which was the one without Orlando Bloom and without Elizabeth Swann. The only Pirates of the Caribbean without Elizabeth Swann, and that's because Hannah New had taken her spot and played. She played Barbossa's daughter. If you guys can remember, Barbossa had a daughter, and Hannah New played that character. So they have characters that have played pirate roles before. In full disclosure, I'm 100% sure I haven't like name checked this yet and statted this yet, and I'm probably going to by the time I finish the show. I should have done it by now, but the character that played Barbosa plays um, uh, Hornigold in Black Sails, and I think it's all based on real pirates from way back when. There's Captain Flint, who is my second favorite character. Then there's Charles Vane. Charles Vane's my personal favorite, and then I happen to like Long John Silver. Long John Silver's on there. I like him. They got a character named Billy Bones, Billy Badass Bones. I like Billy Bones. I think Billy Bones is a good character. So they've got star power out the ass in this damn show. I'm telling you, you not if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you need forget about Twisted Metal for a little while, and forget about The Witcher for a little while, and just indulge yourself in Black Sails. You will not be disappointed at all. You'll love it because I love it, and if you're like me, you'll love the things that I love. Black Sails is one of them. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed at all. So, is there anything to watch outside of blood and guts? Right? Is there anything that's going to just what if I don't like action? What if I just like to smoke a joint and laugh? Is there anything for me? New? Probably not. But new to you? Possibly so. So if you're a good old pot smoking son of a gun that doesn't want to really care about getting people's heads cut off and more worried about what's going to make you laugh. I've said this before on the show and I'll say this again just for you guys. Um, Probably the funniest show on Netflix for you guys to watch, I would say, is definitely got to be Arrested Development. Outside of that, the community is pretty funny, pretty well, easy to watch. You'll like it. If you're not watching Netflix, if you're watching anything on Amazon Prime or anything that's related to Amazon Prime, like Paramount Plus or Stars or what's the MGM From. There you go. If From is another one that I've been addicted to, I've wiped out. There's only two seasons. It's kind of relatively new. It started in 2020, and then 2022 was the second season. 2024 would be the third season. So I'm already waiting on that. The release date is April 24th. Will be the release date of From. So if you haven't watched From and you like vampire stories, if you like horror in general, if you like thrilling and captivating and gripping your nails into your hands kind of show, From is definitely for you. That's an amazing show. I love that show. And again, with the star power, they have a lot of star power. They did a really well job with captivating characters, not just one guy, but multiple guys have very intertwining roles in that show. Is a very great show. From is a very great show. But we were talking about comedy for a minute. So Killing It is on Peacock, and it's Craig Robinson's show. Craig Robinson is the producer. He's the writer. Craig Robinson completely created the show Killing It. And it's pretty funny. It's all right. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I watched it. It's only got one season. Took me 2 nights to watch it. I watched 5 episodes and then turned around and watched the other 5 episodes. Um, I like Craig Robinson in general. You know, if you don't know who I'm talking about the guy, the black guy. I'm not being racist. He's a bigger blacker. He's a big black guy. He played in. Well, first of all, he played in Zack and Mary Make a Porno. He was the one that was the recorder of Zack and Mary Make a Porno. He also played in Pineapple Express. You know, he was Matheson, the guy that he said, dinner gonna be cold tonight, asshole. You know, he shot his partner in the heart, in the chest, whatever you want to say, blah blah blah. Craig Robinson also played in both Hot Tub Time Machines. He played in both of them. So I mean, he's a generally funny guy. Anyway, also played in This Is the End. He was the Ain't No Party Like a No Penny Party, blah blah blah, whatever he did with the piano and all that good stuff. And Rihanna, he was singing to Rihanna. But that's who Craig Robinson is. Very funny guy. Created a show. Did a pretty good job on it. Name of the show is Killing It. You can find it on Peacock. It's very worth watching. Very funny. Trying to think something else that was captivatingly funny. Piss your pants, have to watch funny for all you comedy gurus out there. But I'm kind of running blank because it's almost a dead thing. Like they don't make funny movies anymore. Well, they just made one. Jamie Foxx and Will Ferrell made Strays. It's in theaters now, so I haven't seen it yet. I used to be a huge theater guy, but age, I've grown out of it. You know, I've don't do half the things that I used to do growing up. Now I just pretty much wait for it to come out, and then whenever it comes out, I just watch it. That's how I do it. I just save money all the time. Money is really hard to come by. You got to work your ass off, and then you got to pay all your bills, and then you got to feed your family, and then you got to feed yourself, and then you have cigarette habits, and then you have pot habits, and so enjoying life, unless you're rich or even like wealthy or middle class, you really just don't have a lot to do. You know, depending on what your personal habits are. So, and my personal habits are smoking. I smoke cigarettes daily. You guys see that. I smoke pot daily. You guys don't see that, but I'm telling you. So I do a lot of my entertainment inside the house. Um, so Strays I haven't seen yet, but I want to see it. I will see it when it's out. Um, but that being said, uh, this has all been about entertainment, and I've given you a lot of entertainment things to keep up with, and I'm going to repeat them before we wrap things up. So must see, absolutely, the out of everything I've talked about, the best thing to watch will be Black Sails. If you watch it, if you haven't seen it and you decide to watch it because of me, you are welcome. Second thing would be Twisted Metal. And again, you are welcome. And then finish up The Witcher. And if you haven't seen The Witcher at all, just start from scratch and go all the way through it. And you will fall in love with Geralt of Rivia. And if you're probably going to, honestly, full disclosure, your favorite character is probably going to become, Yennefer. Yennefer has become my favorite character throughout the show. You would think that that sounds crazy because you've fallen in love with a girl that you'll never see in real life, but it ain't about that. It's about the character that she plays. I love her character. Yennefer is awesome. So watch The Witcher, and then like I said, Twisted Metal. You gotta watch that, and then Killing It. If you like comedy, if you enjoy comedy, and you like Craig Robinson, if you're a fan of Craig Robinson and know who he is, watch Killing It. You will not be disappointed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude the show. Um, of course, if you enjoyed what you heard, you like what you see, always feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're feeling generous, you can always feel free to cash at me, Erick Coughlin, hashtag Coughlin Pride. Have a good day.